When you are filling out your bracket for March Madness, I'm going to tell you why you should be picking Kentucky. Yes, you heard me correctly. The Kentucky Wildcats should go pretty far in everyone's bracket that you were filling out when it comes to the men's side of the tournament. For some people, there are doubts that Kentucky really won't make it that far, but I'm going to be honest with you. They have the biggest upside, I think, out of anyone else in the tournament. But there also could be a situation where people are like, well, I don't know. What we've seen from them doesn't give me the confidence that they can make it that far. But if you're really watching them, you see where all the potential lies. And if it's all clicking for them at the right time, especially in March, they could pretty much beat anybody if they're really put up to the test. The biggest thing for Kentucky will be their defense. If they can get their defense in order and get timely stops and get consecutive stops, they will be an overall complete team for March Madness. Because anyone who's watching March Madness understands it's guard play and it's defense. If they can get the defensive part right, they will be good to go. There are some key pieces of this Kentucky team that are going to have to play very well or play in their role to be able to find Kentucky exactly where they want to be in March Madness, which is deep, deep in the tournament, Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16, and so forth and so on. The anchor of this team for me is Antonio Reeves. I think he is one of the most consistent players for them offensively and defensively. But I think with him, he kind of gears and steers the ship how it goes with them, especially offensively when they start games. When he's hot and he's going, the team flows in a different direction. But when he's struggling at times, you can see how it impacts them offensively. So if Reeves is out there getting buckets in March Madness, best believe that offense for Kentucky will roll. The one person that most teams should be scared about in March Madness is Rob Dillingham for Kentucky. Yes, they should actually be terrified. Shout out to Coach Cal because I think he played it perfectly, making Rob a six-man essentially and coming off the bench. And now Rob is so comfortable with that role. He knows what he's supposed to go in there and do, which is get buckets and also put a fire that they need when they need a spark. He is that guy for them. And especially in close games when they need buckets, he's one of those consistent guys. The biggest thing I've been impressed about with Rob Dillingham, though, is he has matured throughout this season. At one point, he knew he was faster than most people, quicker than most, shiftier than most. He could beat anyone off the dribble, get to the rim. But sometimes he would force shots. Now he's understanding in a pick and roll situation, yeah, I could beat you, but if you're going to send help because you're scared of me going to the rim, I'm throwing the alley every time. I'm going to make the extra pass, which for any defense, that's scary because now you have to play him two ways and really you got to play him straight up now, one-on-one, which is still a nightmare. Like I said before, March Madness is all about guard play. And DJ Wagner is going to have to come up big in March Madness if Kentucky wants to see themselves where they really envision themselves deep in March Madness. For him to be their guard, he has to understand that there will be times where he needs to just go get a bucket. I have watched DJ Wagner beat people off the dribble, get to the rim, or have a mid-range shot available, and instead he'll pass out of it. I get he's always trying to make the right play, but in March Madness, DJ Wagner is going to have to command the stage as a guard. There are going to be open things in defenses that he's going to see during March Madness where you cannot pass up those shots because they might not come back in the next game if you even make it there. Get to the basket, be confident in your mid-range shot, and go ahead and get buckets as a guard. You can still make the right play, but make sure you're still getting yours. Reed Sheppard is another consistent body for them that obviously makes the right play, can come up big in big moments and get shots, and he likes to play on that defensive end of the ball. He's another one that a lot of teams are going to have to game plan for, and there are some guys that you could just tell during a season when the lights get brighter and the stage is bigger, they're going to step up and show out, and Reed Sheppard is one of those guys for Kentucky. The only thing for Bradshaw is he's going to have to decide what kind of player he wants to be in March Madness. I've seen the spurts. I've seen the potential. But he's going to have to decide you want to play big boy basketball in March Madness. Go out there and do what I've seen you be able to do. Command that rim. Be able to get up and get rebounds. Be able to go strong up to the basket. Sometimes he could get a little lazy at times. Go ahead and command the stage because a lot of these teams won't have really consistent big men. But if Bradshaw can really implement himself as that person, oh, it's going to be over for anybody who's playing Kentucky. When he's being aggressive, they're a completely different team, especially when he's able to kind of sneak out to that three-point line and hit those transition threes. I mean, it's a whole different ball game, but he's going to have to decide what kind of big man he wants to be in March Madness. Other sleeper person I could say for Kentucky will be Big Z. I know he didn't play much in the season because of the NCAA stuff, but the games that I did see him play, I could see all the potential and how Coach Cal might say, hey, I'm going to throw in something different throughout March Madness and see what happens just to give us more depth, more size, and be able to even protect the rim even more. And Big Z could get a bucket. So he's one person, if these teams in March Madness aren't game planning for, they need to make sure they keep that in their back pocket because I know Coach Cal is definitely going to think of ways to implement him. There's a lot of pieces to this Kentucky team that is going to have to to play well for them to see success. I mean, Edwards, you got Mitchell. I could go so on and so forth of how many people are going to have to really participate and punch the clock to make sure Kentucky has the best March Madness tournament that they could possibly have. All the upside is there. Offensively, they have every shot maker that they could possibly have. They do. Their bench is actually pretty deep. They have depth. The only thing is you got to play defense, and the guards are going to have to show out in March Madness. But if I was filling out a bracket, I'm putting Kentucky pretty far in the tournament.